This is Bishop Craig in Lansing, and this is take one for the week of December 10. Peace be with you. I am dressed up or dressed this way because I just finished recording a sermon for the fourth Sunday in Advent, December 24. So if your congregation is trying to figure out how you're going to do Christmas in the evening and Advent 4 in the morning, we have a recorded sermon that will be available, released. And if you look in the weekly update, you can sign up to receive it, and you can watch me Sunday morning, December 24, and hear the gospel, hopefully, from me. And if you are not going to do that, if your congregation is not going to do that, that's fine. We will release the sermon in the afternoon on December 24, so you can watch me and receive the gospel from me, hopefully, then. But we do make this available as a way to help out. So I hope people will take advantage of it. We rejoice with University Lutheran Church in East Lansing that on Sunday the 10th voted to call a pastoral team. I can't say anything more about that yet. The call has been extended. I don't know who knows what or if they've accepted the call, the team, but we're glad that this has happened. I believe that we have now completed 18 call processes. If you count installations and installations pending, and this one at ULC, 18 call processes since the Synod Assembly in May. So I'm really pleased at that. For us, congregations complete a call process and they're done, and it seems we complete a call process and there's a new one. But we managed 18, so that's very good. Oh, I need to say that COVID is returning to church. I was hoping I'd never have to talk to you about COVID again, but we all knew I would, so did I. COVID is returning to church. We had a couple of pastors come down with COVID this week, which affected the churches. My rule is if COVID shows up to church, the bishop does not, because we have an elderly member of the family that we care for, Kathy and I. So I would ask you to do three things. First, if you've not done so, get vaccinated. Second, it's not a sign of weakness or anything to wear a mask. I keep a purple mask in my pocket, and if I'm anywhere where I begin to feel, the spidey senses come out, the mask goes on. So carry a mask and use it, whether to prevent yourself from getting sick or if you're at all worried about getting someone else sick, put on the mask. And third, if you are not feeling well, it's okay to stay home from church. It really is. Even if you're supposed to usher or read or do coffee hour or something, somebody will step in. I promise. None of us are that indispensable. So if you're not feeling well, it's okay to stay home from church, even if you have the solo Christmas Eve. I admire these two pastors who called to let me know that they've come down with COVID and they are staying home. So thank you to those pastors, who I'm not going to call out, but you know who you are. This week, I have kind of a quiet week. On Wednesday, we have staff meeting. On Thursday, I have the conference deans and a council meeting with Prince of Peace in Rose City. And that is the scheduled parts of my week. So I'm pretty excited about that. I need a little rest after our Synod Council meeting that we spent last week getting ready for, that went really well on Saturday. I'm grateful to everybody who helps prepare for those meetings. Chief among them at the top of the list is our Vice President, Sandy. So I'm ready for a breather after City Council, so I'm glad to be able to get one. The readings for the 17th of December, if I had to pick a theme, it would be the coming of Jesus is disappointing but better. And I would find a nicer way to say that, but the coming of Jesus is disappointing but better. So in Isaiah, this Isaiah text is the one that Jesus reads when he shows up at the synagogue in Nazareth and preaches his first sermon, if you will. It is Luke 4, And the year we do hear it, we hear it in January. So if you want to go look at that. But what's interesting is verse 2. So if you start reading at verse 1 and you're going to go, oh yeah, I know this from the Gospel of Luke. But here we find the reason that after Jesus preached and said a couple of things, they really wanted to kill him in his hometown. Because the verse in verse 2 is to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God. And Jesus skips the day of vengeance of our God. So all the people that are waiting for retribution against maybe the Romans or whoever, all the people that are waiting for retribution are going to be disappointed, because that is not what Jesus is going to be about. Disappointing. Jesus is about the redemption of all, which in the grand scheme of things is better. So as we anticipate the one who is coming, it's disappointing and better. The reading from Thessalonians, the verse that jumps out at me is that Paul tells us to test everything and to hold on to what is good. We are at a flurry of pursuit of innovation. We are quick to think that any idea is of the Holy Spirit. Change for change's sake is what we need to be about. Rah, rah, rah for the new Reformation. Paul cautions us to slow down, to test everything. Because, yes, there is the Holy Spirit, but there are lots of other spirits, like the spirit of survival or the spirit of self-promotion. And so we need to test everything and to hold on what is good. And I'm remembering in the early church, according to Alan Kreider, it was a simple test. Is this life-giving in terms of Jesus or death-dealing? And some things the early church could say, yeah, this is life-giving and we can accept it. Others, they'd say, no, this is death-dealing and we need to reject it. And still others, they would need to nuance, to modify, to change. And so I think the idea that everything is going to be instantaneously new and it's all of the Spirit and every idea is good and it's going to be immediately all right, no. Disappointing but better. Test everything and hold on to what is good. And then we get to the gospel, and that is John. And in the Revised Common Lectionary, it seems to follow a pattern of Mark. In the year of Mark, Mark kind of gives us the history, and John follows the next week and gives us some theological commentary. And so we have a commentary on John the Baptist. We have the testimony of John the Baptist. The religious folks come down and they ask John, who are you? And John does not give them the answer they want, because they would like to put him in a box and have him defined. He's either the Messiah or Elijah or the prophet. And he says, no, I'm a witness, and one who is coming is greater than I. It's not about me. I'm the one who points to Jesus. And thank goodness, God not only sends us Jesus, but God sends us ones to point to Jesus. So, as important as John is a supporting character. And I believe that's something the church needs to remember today. That the church is not the star of the show. Jesus is. The church is a supporting character. And our job is to point to Jesus, to witness to Jesus, to testify to Jesus. We want to think that it's about our church, our community. We are a loving family. We need to survive. We need to keep going. We have a great building. Look at us feed the community. That's all good and right and all of that. And our job is to point to Jesus. Disappointing that we're not the star of the show, and better. Because when people come to Jesus, when they come to know Jesus, maybe, just maybe, they might become a part of the church. It's interesting to me that it was the religious people who came wanting to kind of figure out who John was, make him front and center. And it is religious people that kind of want to make the church figure out how can the church change and become and be so it's front and center. The first step, I think, is to realize that our role is a supporting character. We witness to Jesus. And that is what we're about. So if I were preaching on this third Sunday in Advent, the news would be that the coming of Jesus will be disappointing in terms of our expectations and better. So I'm Bishop Craig, and this is Take One. I hope that you are having a blessed Advent, and may the peace of Christ be with you. Take care.